Hi, and welcome back to Serenity Cove Crafts. My name is Linda, and today, even though it's August, actually it's August 11th, we're going to make a snowman. Let's beat the heat a little and make a snowman. So this is what my vision looks like. We'll have to wait and see if I can pull it off. Okay, he's probably not going to hold a strand of Christmas lights. That's something that you can add yourself. Once the stores start selling, their Christmas crafting supplies, you can just get a string of battery operated lights. Okay, so for this project, I used my 48 pin Sentro. Go ahead and use your 46 pin Addi if that's what you have. And I also used my 22 pin Addi. Okay, so for the snowman, the color that I used, it was just a Bernat Premium, and it's just white. So go ahead, use any white that your machine cooperates with. It can be tricky to find a yarn that the machine will accept, but mine likes the Bernat Premium, the Lion brand Pound of Love, and also actually this is the hat, and this is the scarf, and for these I used Karen Skinny Cakes, and it's a lightweight yarn here. It's only 3, so I wanted to use it up. I could have went with something more festive, but I figured we'll use this up, and this one's called Fruit Punch. And then for the nose, I just used, let's see, orange. It's pretty simple. White, orange, and the Skinny Cakes. Okay. So I do all my knitting off screen. On my Sentro, I have an automatic, an electric crank turner. And it makes quite a bit of noise, so I prefer to do all that off screen. You don't need to be subjected to that. So, okay, now I'm going to, if I remember, I'm going to put the row counts down in the description. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that like. Give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. Okay, so this is the body and head combo. Now on my 48 pin Sentro, I knit 130 rows. So what I'm going to do now, we're just going to cinch and close off both ends. And we're going to double our work. Now if you're new to circular knitting machines, I do have some tutorials. Go into my playlist, and I have tutorials on how to knit, how to cast on, cast off, change colors, how to double your work, how to make a drawstring. These are things that we're going to be using here, except for the color change. All right. Now to close the ends, just move this out of the way. To make it nice and secure, I just go to the end here. I'll be doing this on both sides. I pick up the stitches at the end with my threaded yarn needle, and it's threaded with the tail end. And you just keep going around until you've reached the other end, or where you began. So look at me, this is the second tutorial that I'm uploading in, well, today and yesterday. So I've neglected the channel for a bit. So I'm trying to make up for my negligence. And after this project, I have to spend time on my Etsy store. I do some designs that you're not going to find on my channel here. And they're full patterns with photos of all the steps and videos, tutorials as well. So those are quite time consuming. Right, so I am back where I started. Go ahead, we're going to just pull this tight. Just going to go through on the opposite end of where the tail end here is, and I'm just going to go through and tie this. Tie a knot. And I like to ensure that things are really secure. So I'm just going to do it again. Now you're going to do the same with this end. And when I'm done that, I will be back to show you the further steps. I've got both ends cinched and tied off. So now we're going to, I like to give my work a good stretch, all directions. Okay. Now we're going to double our work. So I'm going to insert one end into the other. Just fold it into itself, like so. You just kind of line up the ends. One's on the outside, one's on the inside. I'm going to take the outside end, just thread it up again. I'm just going to fold this because it's quite long. Okay, so I'm just going in through the center where there would be a hole if you didn't tie it very tight. Okay, and we're going to come out in the same spot in the middle, or on the inside, right in the middle. And I like to tell people that I'm not a crocheter or I've never hand knitted. So everything I've had to learn, I've had to teach myself. Yeah, so like a lot of the terminology I didn't understand. And I could never understand when people were pulling out crochet hooks and they wanted you to crochet, because I thought if I knew how to crochet, I wouldn't need a knitting machine. That was just my logic, and I stand by that logic. I really do. So the only time you'll ever see me with a crochet hook is if I'm trying to insert pom-poms or insert fringe onto a scarf. All right, so we've got this. Now what we are going to do I'm just going to grab a longer piece. I save my tail ends and I just use them for stuffing. Now because this is white, you don't want to stuff it with, for example, I wouldn't want to stuff any of the orange in because you can see through. So all right, get a longer piece and I'm doubling it. Okay. Now to make a drawstring, I just start at the top here, which is the folded edge, and I just grab, I work two at a time. Grab 2 stitches and then I skip over one. Grab 2, skip over. Grab 2, skip over. And I just keep doing it till I get around to the other end. I made my way around, and if you're grabbing 2 and skipping 1, when you get to the end, there'll be 3 to grab onto. Okay, and then I just like to make sure that they're similar lengths. All right, so we're going to, I like to do my drawstring first, just so that I can gauge where I want things. Okay, so now we're going to figure out where we would like the head and the body to separate. So I am thinking maybe about 4 inches. Looks like a good length. But it's not precise. You can eyeball it. It's usually what I do. So yeah, about 4 inches. Okay, so to do the drawstring, get a long piece of white. Decide where you're going to start. Okay, so I'm going to go here, along here, and I just want to make sure that I go, sorry, I'm trying to keep my eye on the camera here. Okay, just going to follow. Actually, in this case, I'm picking up one at a time. Pick up one, skip, one, skip. Okay, and if you find it easier to mark your path as you're going along, go ahead and do that. I always have extra needles. And then, of course, as you're going, just make sure that it's looking right. I'm not measuring exactly. I'm just kind of inserting them right now. Okay. So you're not going to be going through all of your 4 layers. I just go through the top one. And, okay, I always say don't pull too hard or you'll end up having to start over. This is exactly what I did. And this is the one time I didn't mention it. Okay, here we go again. I will start. Sorry, just trying to. Here we go. So when you go to pull your drawstring, don't pull it all the way. I like to tuck it under my work so it's not in my way. Okay, and then just keep going. Make your way in and out. Try to keep it as straight as you can. Okay. You're going to go all the way around until you meet up where you've started off. And I will be back when I've made my way around. I've been back and I've made my way around. All right. So now we're just going to go ahead and open this up, the end. And what we're going to do right now is we're just going to overstuff the bottom portion. It's going to be like one great big huge snowball. You know, like the kind you make when you're a kid and you're making a snowman? Well, maybe all of you don't have that experience. I'm in Canada, so I grew up making snowmen. I guess some of you may live in a climate where you don't have that opportunity. So I will show you. Just grabbing some stuffing. Now, I want my little dude here to stand up. I just have these clear marbles. I got them from a thrift store. I got $2 for a big bag. In my case, I want my snowman to stand up. Oops! And I've lost my marbles. We have runners, people. I've lost my marbles. You can ask any of my friends. They know I lost my marbles a long time ago. There we go. I'm going to put a little more. I want his chubby little bottom to stay put. Go ahead, skip this part. It's entirely up to you. If you're making yours to be a toy for a child, then of course you're going to skip the marble part. Okay, so we're just going to keep adding stuffing. Oops. And I have this stuffing that I do not enjoy. It's loops and threads, and I do not endorse it, definitely not. So I'm using it up in this project, try to get rid of it. It's hard, and if I have to try to get a needle through it, it's close to impossible at times. I almost need a drill to get through it. Okay, I keep going. I want a nice big snowball bottom. Hey, I think we'll just put a little bit more here. I'm thinking that may be enough for that. So I got the body. fluff it out. And I'm sorry, fluff is what I use. It's my terminology. You're going to want to grab this drawstring that you created to separate the body and the head. Let's go ahead, tie her. If you wanted to, you could have doubled this part as well so that it's thicker, but we're not going crazy. You don't have to pull it to close it off completely. You just want to show a distinction from this big snowball to the smaller one on top. So I'm thinking that's good right there. Now, I could have done it, and you also can do it, stuff the entire thing and then pull your drawstring, but I wanted to ensure that the bottom is really, really full, because the top isn't going to be as full. Okay, so I've tied this off. Just going to go ahead and hide these ends inside the work. Usually I do a prototype of a design before I do the tutorial. I'm flying blind here. I just did my sketch and I figured, let's see if we can pull it off. Put it this way, if you're watching the tutorial, it came together somehow, some way. But you know, that's life. That's life. We just kind of get through it the best we can. Okay, so now I'm going to stuff the head. Okay. And see, we've got the drawstring already here. I like to add my drawstring beforehand. This way, look, you can gauge. You can fiddle with it and then see if you need more stuffing. A lot of people will do they'll stuff it first and then do the drawstring, but I find it's too much of a handful for me, because then my stuffing is falling out while I'm trying to add the drawstring. And if I can find a more effective way of doing something, I will do it. I mean, I'm certain that most of you are not as klutzy as I am, and you can hang on to your stuffing while you're doing a drawstring. But for those of you that are like me, you know, we kind of need all the help we can get. Alright. I want the head nice and fully stuffed. Right. Now, hindsight here, I'm thinking that we probably could have put the head lower down, but that's entirely up to you. Okay, I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to tie this off. Just pushing at the stuffing. Right, pull it as tight, and this is where you want to have the double strand, so you can pull, you know, nice and tight and work through it. Okay. There we go. Tie it off. I tie it off a few times. And there is a hole. We'll cover that. That's okay. So what I'm thinking is, instead of having the body chunky like that, we'll make it stand up a bit. There. So now it doesn't look too bad. But yes, I probably would have maybe gone down to about here. So let's say add maybe another inch down, so about 5 inches, and then do the drawstring. But this is going to good. It's going to look good. And okay, we're just going to close the end. And I left this end so that I could tie this securely. what I mean. Okay. There we go. That's all right. Our snow girl is going to be nice and chunky. There's more of her to love. I'm just going to hide these individually. It's a little hard sticking 4 strands through the needle. So you just want to hide it in your work. Well, there's one. And the other end. Okay, I'm back. I've got the head closed off here. Right. And I forgot to add safety eyes before I closed up. Oh goodness. So, going with plan B. Instead of safety eyes, I will show you how to embroider eyes onto your snowman. That's okay. We roll with it here. Okay. So, for feet, I wanted to make these little snowballs. So that, a little snowball for the feet, and she's sitting up. Grab the other piece here. Now, for the feet, on the 22 pin, the white yarn, I knit 30 rows, then I cast off, okay. And you're making 2 of these. I'm just going to zoom back in a little. All right, so I'm just going to, now you would go ahead and close it off the way I did with the head and the body. So I'm just trying to stand this up. If it's going to be for a child, you're going to want it to be really secure. For me, it's just going to be just a display piece, a decoration. So I'm just going to skip reinforcing the outer edge. I'm just going to, I cinched and now I'm tying these off. Okay, do the same with the other end. Okay, so now we're going to double our work. I think I'll use this as the outside. So we're just going to insert the needle through the middle. Come up the other end, tie it off, and I'm just going to grab the longer piece. Now we'll turn this inside out. I'm not hiding the work because we're stuffing this, but we will be making a drawstring on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back with the next step. All right, I'm back. So I have my drawstring on the outer edge here, and I'm just going to grab some stuffing. Go ahead and stuff this one so it looks like a little snowball, and you want the amount of stuffing to be pretty much the same on both of the feet. Let's see. Yes, I like that. So go ahead and tie it off. I'm going to hide the ends inside the work. And just to show you that we all make mistakes, you can either undo it or keep going. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to salvage my snowman body. So what I'm going to do is add an extra snowball, so it doesn't look so out of whack. Okay, so I'm just going to put these aside for now. So I'm going to do another drawstring. Let me just zoom out here. Okay, so we're going to thread the needle. Get a nice long piece of white yarn. Okay. So basically, I wasn't really liking the way the head is so tiny. What we're going to do is we're going to add, look, we're going to make a 3-ball snowball. Snow person. There we go. See, you can fix it. We all make mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to go in about here, and just like you did around here, I'm just going to go ahead and just do the drawstring. Unless you watched this tutorial first and then took my advice and lowered this, then you're good to go. But otherwise, if you're knitting along with me, that's okay. We'll fix it. It's all good. You know, and then that's just the way life is sometimes. Just gonna go with the flow. I sat here and I thought, I don't like the way it looks. I have 2 choices. Well, I have 3. I could pitch a fit, which doesn't solve anything. I love how pitch a fit is my first choice. We have pitch a fit, but no, I can undo it all and start over. Or we can adapt. And I chose to adapt. It's pretty much how I go through life. I choose to adapt. Okay, so I'm just going to go off camera. So you know what I'm doing. We're just going around here, and I'll meet you so that we can tighten it. All right, I'm back where I started. Let's see if we can pull this off. Do you have faith in me? I don't know. Let's go. Pull, pull, pull. Let's go. You may want to double this when you're doing the drawstring, just in case you snap the yarn. But, you know, if you snap the yarn, it's not the end of the world. Just grab another piece and do it again. Okay. All right. She's kind of lumpy like me. There we go. I think she looks better now. What do you think? Okay. So we solved it. We'll just have to smush her into place there. So let's go ahead and hide these ends. And, you know, I don't want to cut this out of the tutorial because this is life. We all make mistakes. Well, certainly everyone I've ever met. We make mistakes. And judge of character is how you deal with those mistakes. Okay, I think we pulled it off. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so now we are going to sew the snowballs. Find the part, the angle you like the best. But, let's see. Pick a side, any side. I think we'll go with this side. Right there. So now we're just going to go ahead. You should have lots. If you're following along and making the same mistakes I am, you should have lots of white yarn lying around. So this is going to be the front of mine. I am going to be putting the snowballs like that. I have snowball feet like that. Okay. All right, so we're going to do some mattress stitching here. So I'm just trying to keep my head out of the way. Okay. Grab a couple of stitches on this side. Tuck this tail end. Just tuck it out of your way. And then we're going to grab a couple on the snowman body part. Let's see if I can zoom back in. All right. And go ahead, use stitch markers to hold it in place if you want. I just kind of have this little death grip here with my thumb holding it on that way. So we're just going to go all the way around. Just keep at it. A couple from the foot. And a couple from the body. And generally, I like to sort of pull it as I'm going along. So I'm going to go all the way around to this side, and I'll meet you when I get back. All right, I'm making my way around. And let's come around here. And you go ahead, pull your mattress stitch, and it will smoothen out. So go ahead, tie this off. Let's hide the ends into the work. In this case, I'm going to hide them in the body. Right. Okay, so I've got one foot here. Zoom back out so you can see that. Right. So go ahead and sew the other foot on, kind of like that. So you can decide, do you want your feet touching each other, or did you want to put a little bit of distance between them? I am going to put some distance, and I am going to sew this one off camera. So do the same thing that you did for this one, and then for this, and then we will be back with the arms. All right, I'm back. I've got my two little snowball feet on. Okay. Now I've also done one of the arms. Hello, hello. I'm just going to show you how to do that. So you're going to make 2 arms with the white yarn, going to knit 40 rows and then cast off. Now you're going to cinch and tie both ends. You should be an old pro at that by now. And we're going to double our work. Try to zoom in here. Okay, so we're going to tie these off. And we're not going to be cutting any of these strands. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to take the shorter one. Anyway, so we're just going to flip it back so it's right side. The right side is on the outside. Okay. Ignore this other tail. We're going to be using this tail to sew onto the body. Okay. So what we're going to do now is going to take this. Okay, so it's been doubled. We're not doing any sort of drawstring. We're good here. We're just doubling the work. Now we're going to fold it in half. And this is my little trick for when I'm mattress stitching. I just use these extra needles that I have, and I decide which, sorry, let me move this over. I'm going to decide which row I'm going to follow and sort of map it out right at the beginning. So I'll be picking up the stitches in here, and I'm going to go on this row over here. Now just follow along, insert your needle over here. Just see, the closer you get to this curve, this cinched end, the more it's going to want to veer outwards. So that's where it comes in handy. See, just follow it over here like that. See? If I were just eyeballing it, it would be too easy to lose my place and kind of go down. Okay, so follow. That's just my little trick to you. And over here. See? You can clearly see. Right. So, I'll grab the shorter one again. There we go. So go ahead and thread your needle. Now we're going to be doing some mattress stitching here. So what we do is we pick up a couple of stitches on this side. See, we're sticking to this row here. You don't want to pull too tight. And then we're going to pick up the first 2 over here. All right. And keep going. And as I'm going, see, I can just remove my stitch markers, if you will. I just find these are easier than stitch markers. The stitch markers are like little plastic safety pins, and I find that I kind of have to put my needle down to use 2 hands to unhook them. So with this, I can just keep my position and then just pull them out. You see, just following. And I space them maybe about 1 inch apart so that I can just at a quick glance keep an eye on where I'm going. It's just my little trick from me to you. As in with everything in life, take what you can use and discard the rest. You're going to have your own ways. You're going to find your own ways of doing things. And that's perfectly fine. We're not a one-size-fits-all kind of world. Okay, so I am going to go, let's see, pull this out, and I think I'll go down, not all the way to the end, but there we are. Okay, just kind of going down to here. Take your needle off, and just going to gently pull, and you see, look, it smooths that stitch right out. Now your inside here, just kind of tuck that in. Ooh, that's pretty. So we're going to go ahead and just going to knot the end here. Just going to knot this off. You don't want to pull too tight. Just going to knot it. Now there may be easier ways of doing this, but this is what I find works for me. Okay, so I'm keeping this tail end, and I'm just inserting where I tied it off, and I am going to feed it on up through here. Okay. Okay, so you just want to put, push the inner pieces in, and I'm still keeping this side where the seam is, just keeping it towards the middle. And I'm just moving my needle here to the opposite end from this one. Okay, just going to turn this over so you can see it. And now I'm just doing like just a very basic whip stitch. Just basically, we're just closing this end so that it's easier to sew on to the snowman. And when I get over here, just go ahead, take your needle out, and let's tie it to this one. Now I'm just going to hide this tail end inside the hand. There we go. Snip that off. Okay, so what we're going to want is we're going to want the seam that we did towards the back, like so. So in my case, the seam's back here. So I like to start at the top and then work my way down. So I'm just going to pass my needle through, just bring it up this end here. No, actually, take it back out. Oh my God. Now this is why I don't do, there we go. This is why I don't do, usually do tutorials 2 days in a row. Okay. And we're maybe going, what, about an inch from here. Let's see. Over to the side, like so. Let me just zoom out a bit. Sorry, my camera doesn't zoom out any further than that. Okay, I'll turn this around. Now I'm not doing anything special here. Just sort of, grabbing a couple stitches on the body, pulling it through, and now I'm just passing it through the arm. See that? Through the body, and then here through the arm. And that's what I find works for me. You just keep going here. We're not doing any fancy stitching. So what I like to do is I make my way down. I like to start at the top, work my way down, and then I circle back up to the top. Please forgive my scratchy voice. I got COVID back in December for the first time. And since then, I have days where my voice just cuts out. But that's life. Some days I have a voice, some days I don't. And it's the universe's way of trying to tell me, shh, take a break. Don't talk. Okay, so I'm over here now. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to scoot over and work my way, going back up this way. Okay, so I'm back at the top. And I'm just going to find a way that you want to tie this off. The needle's kind of long and the yarn end is a little short. That's all right. If you don't have enough room to be able to thread it and then use the needle, all you have to do is just insert the needle most of the way and then go ahead and use the little bit of yarn that you have to thread. It's okay. Just going to. All right. Now we're going to make the thumb. Woohoo, this is a method that I'm self-taught. Okay, just need a little bit of yarn here. Okay, so I'm facing this way. Thumbs up. Come on, guys, we want to give it some thumbs up, right? So we're going to have the thumb up here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sewing in, putting the needle in about halfway. I'm just going to zoom back in. This is my own little method. So we're going to be going about halfway here. And when I mean halfway this way. Okay. And we're going to be going maybe about a third of the way this way. So you do. So I'm going in from the back. So I'm going halfway and about a third of the way. And let's just go ahead, put the needle through like that, and then just hold it. Going to follow this line right here. And I'm just inserting one of these needles because I use it as a guide. All right? So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and pull this out, hang on to the end that's on the back. And now that we have this here, look, we just go ahead, go around the hand, and this is actually holding your yarn. So your yarn's not sliding off of the arm. Okay? So we're just going like this, just bringing it around to the back. Right? Go ahead and take it off your needle. Okay, we're going to start tying a knot. Let's go ahead. We can take this off now. And we're going to pull tight. Come on, let's pull tight. You could do tighter than that. There you go. And that, my friends, is how I figured out how to do a thumb. I don't know if it's the correct way, but it's the way I figured it out. I had to approach it, you know, from a technical view and try to figure it out. I'm sure that there are most of you out there are pros, and you're probably shaking your heads thinking, oh, come on, Linda, there's easier ways of doing that. But here we go. Look at that. Ooh, she's got thumbs. Go ahead. Come on, hit that like button. Thumbs up. All right, so now we are going to do the hat. Now the hat, I'm using the same yarn. I'm using the same yarn. It's just this, the Karen Skinny Cakes. And I'm using that same yarn for the scarf as well. Okay, so on my 48 pin Sentro, for the hat, I knit 65 rows. So we're just going to do what we usually do. I'm just going to close the ends. We're cinching the ends. Sorry, I keep glancing up. My camera's up here, so I keep glancing up at the screen to try to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. I have a tendency of holding my work closer to my chest. I'm just going to just pass that through just the twice. You're an old pro at this. You know how to double your work. You're going to want something that contrasts the white. So you're probably not going to want a white scarf. Hang on, I'm just going to zoom out again. Here we go. And for that reason, this end that turned out, that has this light, very pale pink shade, I'm going to put that on the inside of the beanie. So I'm going to just make sure that that's on the inside. Okay, we're just going to tie this off. Same way we always do. Go through the middle, pass it through the middle on the inside. Tie it off. And I use this yarn as well because I figured being thin, it has a better stretch to it. So it'll go over the snowman's head. Okay. Let's go ahead and hide these ends. Hide them between the two layers. So there's two ways that I can do it. Because my pale pink is pretty close to the edge here. I mean, I could turn the beanie this way, like so. Right. Now, what you can always do is go ahead and sew the hat onto the head. Okay, so we will be working on the eyes and the nose shortly. But since I already have that yarn out, I decided to make a little scarf. So with this scarf in the 22 pin machine, I did 90 rows. And here, just going to go ahead, we're going to cinch both ends. We're not going to be doubling our work. It's just going to be a thin single layer scarf. Now if you wanted, you can go ahead and attach a pom-pom or sew it closed and flat and add fringe. I'll leave that up to you. I'm just tying it off like so. Okay. And I am going to hide the end inside the scarf in between the two layers. Okay. You're going to do the same with this end. Okay. It's easy peasy. You can make this as complex or as simple as you'd like. And I'm actually pleased that I was able to keep going and manage to fix my little snowman so she looks good. There we go. Now, like I had mentioned before, I should have put the safety eyes in. But not everyone has safety eyes. So I will show you how to embroider. It'll be very easy embroidering because it is we're just doing black. Okay, just going to put the scarf aside for right now. Now at this point, oops, what you can do is take the eyes, little safety eyes. Now safety eyes, they normally come with, you would insert them, oops, sorry, I'm going to lie this down. You would insert them into your doll before you've tied the end, and then you would put the safety backing on, and then that holds the eye in place. But I didn't think that far ahead, so we are going on with plan B, and that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take some black. I'm going to grab a decent amount here. Actually, right now, I just put that black aside for a second. Now this is the nose, the carrot nose. Now there's other ways that you can do things here as well. Like for example, I don't know, I think I might have gotten these on Temu. You can go ahead and, you know, use just a black round nose. I have these little flocked fleece ones. They look like hearts. You could always put a little heart nose. But I decided I wanted to go the traditional way and do a carrot. So on my 22 pin machine with the orange, I knit 10 rows. Okay, I'm just going to, off camera, I'm going to cinch both ends, tie them off, and then double my work, and I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you quickly, to double your work on a small piece like this, it's the exact same way, except for it's going to look like a circle. Okay, so we're going to pass one end through the center. Go ahead and pass that through the center, come out the other end. Now the rest is the same. I'm going to go ahead and tie this. I didn't want the small or the size of this piece to stump you. It's all good. Okay, so fold it like that. I'm going to zoom in a little closer here. All right, so we're just going to take one of these ends, go ahead and thread it in to the needle. Now, you fold this in half, just pulling one end over to the side, and I'm taking the threaded end to the opposite side, and I'm just going to close this off. You can either whip stitch back and forth, or I'm doing a mattress stitch. So I'm at the end here. Just going to tie this off. Actually looks like an orange slice. So I'm going to use the same end. We are going to roll this. Okay. We'll be rolling it. Pull tight. See what I mean? It's easier to handle when you don't have these 4 layers. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and roll it. Roll it, roll it. I want to try to get the end here where you have the middle tied off. That's going to be the outside of the carrot. So you want to pack that as tight as you can. And with the same tail end that you were using, go ahead here, and we're just going to sew this little nubby carrot closed. I'm just going to look, just doing back and forth stitching here, little whip stitch. Oh, so I do apologize that I ended up making this tutorial longer than it needed to be. But, you know, I keep it real with you. I wanted to show you that I'm human and we all kind of make mistakes, and that's okay. So I'm going to bring it back, pull it back through, excuse me, here. I'm just going to tie these off. And I'm going to hide this end. Okay, I'm going to take the hat off for this. We're going to use this tail end to sew the nose on the face. All right, you want to try to keep your seam to the bottom. All right, let's see. Going to put this right about there. And you want it to be in the center of the body here. So go ahead, sew it to the head. So grab a couple of stitches one side, couple on the other. And then just keep checking it. Make sure that you're still on course. What I mean by that is just stop every once in a while. Just look at it. Reposition if you have to. Okay, so I'm going to continue sewing around and I'll be right back. So I'm back. And then just pull as you're going along. Just going to tie this off. I'm going to tie it over into the orange. Now I know his nose is, we're just going to say it's a really short, stubby carrot. Carrots come in all shapes. I know. Okay, now because my orange is so bright, I'm not going to hide the end in the white because it will really stand out. I'm just going to hide it in the nose. Okay, so there we go. I know it sort of looks like a round, but that's okay. Okay, go ahead. Grab a long piece of black yarn. We're going to do some eyes now. Okay, to embroider. Let's see. I'm just going to put the hat on just to see where I'd like the eyes to be. Okay. So I'm going to put, let's see, just grab my needles. Put one eye here. And the other here. Let's have a look. Okay, now when you're embroidering, we are going to enter in some other part. We're not entering near where we want to come out. Just going to enter. And because this is black and this is white, you're going to have to pass your needle through the stuffing. Now this is where I want to have the eyes go. So I'm planning where I want this to come out. Right there. Okay, I'm going to have my eyes start up here and go to there. Perhaps. Actually, I'm going to zoom out a bit. All right. Okay, so you pull your yarn through. Leave some of the tail end here, okay? So now I'm going to have this one come down. I'm going to want the eyes to be about this tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going in and out the same two holes, okay? I'm going. So you're always planning where you're going to be exiting your needle. My needle's going to come out the same hole. And what you then do is you just guide. With your other hand, go ahead and guide. You're going to guide the yarn. Now, and that's all that we're going to be doing here. Just, there we go. We are just, it's a little bit of a handful, sorry. Going in and out the same holes. Okay. And here's guiding with your finger. And once you do this repeatedly, you're going to notice, I'm going to show you here, just the yarn is going to start arcing outwards. And then that's how you get your circle shape for the eye. Don't pull too tight. If you pull too tight, these are going to pucker, and this might end up coming out. You'll have to start over. There we go. So that's what I do. I just kind of hold this so that I don't pull it too tight. And look closely, you'll see it's starting to form a circle on this side. And I'm just guiding the yarn to this side. Right? Now I'm going to start guiding the yarn over this way. In and out the same holes. This time I'm going to be holding the yarn on this side. I'll be honest with you, circles are pretty much the only thing that I can embroider. I don't have the skills to do anything complex. Not doing any scroll work here. Let's see. I'm going to go through one more time. Okay, so I'm going to be going through now. Now to get to the other side, you kind of have to plan one step ahead. So I already have this is going to be going over here. So now I need to plan where I want the needle to come out here. So I am going to want it to come out. Go through the stuffing. I want it to going to start this eye right here. And I'm working on this last move here. See, I'm pulling over here, but I'm guiding this. There. And then now, once we're over here, we are going to do the same thing. Much faster and easier if you remember to put your safety eyes in. But that's okay. Let's see, I'm going to go to about, perhaps about here. Actually, I'm going to go up one stitch higher. So over here, you're doing the exact same thing. For whatever reason, I like to do the outside first and then move my way inwards. And then once we've got this eye done, we're going to move down and do a little smile. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this eye. When I have this eye done, I'll come back to show you how we do the smile. All right, I've got this eye done. So for the mouth, I'm going to want the smile to, the end of the smile will be directly under the center of the eye on both sides. And go up here, and, oops, over this way. Okay. All right, so now, I'm just going to finish, do my last stitch for the eye, going under, and then now I'm pushing through the stuffing so that my black doesn't show, right under like that. Go through the stuffing, come out where you want the edge of your smile to be. In my case, I'm going to get the stuffing that just does not want to be punctured. There we go. Go over one, right there. Right. Okay, so guide this last one in place. Now for the smile. I am coming over here and I'm going through here. I'm not going to be going through repeatedly. I'm just going to do the one strand. Now to secure this tightly, you may want to take a little bit of fabric glue and then just dot it on the inside of the yarn. And once it's dry, it'll stay in place. Okay, so I'm going to be coming out here. Now, I need to plan my exit. Once I come through here, I'm going to be guiding my needle through here. I need to come out this same hole. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in. Let's see. Okay, that should do. Guess we'll find out. Go through the stuffing. Come out. Come out in the same spot. Okay, and there we are. Coming through. Coming through. Okay. Now, while you're exiting here, gently guide. There you go. There's our smile. Now, don't pull. Don't pull too tight. We are going to knot these. Don't pull tight. You'll wrench your smile out of place if you do. All right. Looking good. Right. So, what we're going to do is we're going in this exact same hole so we can hide the tail ends, and we're going to come out somewhere else. The yarn is too short for the needle, so I'm just inserting the needle first. Here we go. All right. Gentle, gentle. Hold on to this smile while you pull this out. And there we go. If you have a little bit of black showing through, just go ahead, poke it in. See, it's gone. Or you can leave that out. It has a little mole. It's okay. Up here, same thing. There we go. Now, if you wanted, you can always take some of the white yarn, a longer piece, of course, and go through and then just do one little stitch, to give that little light speck, that reflection in each of the eyes. But I'm not going to do that. Just going to leave it as is for right now. Okay. I'm going to put a little hat on. Go ahead, tie the scarf. You can make your scarf longer or shorter. It's entirely up to you. There we go. Or you can just leave the scarf out altogether. Just poke this up a bit. There you go. Just fiddle with it. And there we go. I think I pulled it out. Oh, no, 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 no. Hang on. I've never done this before, but I'm going to try. I want to give her some nice rosy cheeks. So I just have some makeup, little pinkish tone here that I picked up from the dollar store. Ditto, a little brush. Just going to take this light pink here. A little bit of tissue. We don't want her to look Like she's going strutting about town with too much makeup. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, give her some nice rosy cheeks. Whoops. So this step is optional. Okay, there we go. On the first try here, I loaded the brush too much. There we go. Give her some rosy cheeks. You can leave this step out altogether if you want. You can go ahead, go in there with a lighter color. Lighten some of it up. A little bit of painting. And there we go. So, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy your time with me. And our journey, once again, has come to an end. And I will keep those creative juices flowing. I'll keep bringing you some more content. And I hope to see you again soon. Until the next time, please take care and be well.